Just weeks ago, Washington and Tehran reached a fragile interim understanding to pause their hostilities. Then, almost overnight, that agreement fell apart. We are suddenly seeing a rapid return to aggression. Airstrikes have resumed, political rhetoric has sharpened, and military units on both sides are now on high alert. But if you look closely at the underlying strategy, you find a massive contradiction. Despite all this aggressive posturing, neither Washington nor Tehran actually wants to fight a prolonged war. The reasons are domestic and economic. Iran's economy is already under immense strain from years of isolation, while the United States knows another large-scale conflict in the Middle East would inject severe volatility into global financial markets. So both governments find themselves caught in a dangerous loop. They are actively preparing their militaries for a confrontation they desperately want to avoid. To understand why this standoff matters to the rest of the world, we have to look at this map, specifically here the Strait of Hormuz. It is the most critical maritime choke point on Earth. Every single day, a significant share of the global oil supply flows directly through this narrow vein of water. It connects the Persian Gulf directly to international markets. If these shipping lanes become unsafe, if naval patrols become aggressive, or commercial vessels are threatened, the logistical chain reaction is immediate. Insurance premiums for shipping companies skyrocket, supply chains experience severe delays, and energy exports, including the liquid natural gas sitting in these tankers, slow down. That macroeconomic shock eventually reaches the consumer. Businesses face higher operating costs, and ordinary people end up paying $6 a gallon at the gas pump. What starts as a localized military dispute in the Gulf instantly functions as a global tax on millions of people thousands of miles away. Both sides are operating under a strategy known as maximum leverage. The goal is to strengthen your bargaining position by applying as much pressure as possible before ever making a concession. For the United States, that leverage doesn't always come from military strikes. It comes from the Treasury Department through fresh, harsh economic sanctions. These new measures are highly targeted. Washington is actively freezing the assets of specific financiers and business networks, aiming to strangle Iran's economic resources and force them to the table under much less favorable terms. Tehran sees this entirely differently. From the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, their argument is straightforward. Genuine diplomacy and meaningful concessions are impossible while they are under active financial coercion. This creates a total stalemate. Both governments publicly claim they are open to peace, yet both rigidly dictate the conditions under which those negotiations can even begin. Treating economic warfare as a negotiating tactic carries immense risk. Push the financial pressure too far, and it bleeds over into a physical confrontation. We can see that risk manifesting right now in the Persian Gulf. The waters are heavily militarized, packed with US aircraft carriers and naval escorts operating in close proximity to Iranian forces. In this intense pressure cooker, there is zero room for error. A misidentified surveillance drone, a nervous naval patrol, or a misunderstood missile launch could force a commander to react instantly, triggering a war no one planned for. When public communication breaks down and military readiness spikes, the entire system requires an external circuit breaker to stop that exact kind of mistake. That circuit breaker is Qatar. Operating out of Doha, this small Gulf nation has built a reputation for maintaining diplomatic credibility with deeply adversarial nations. Qatar's immediate objective here is narrow. They aren't trying to forge a comprehensive peace treaty overnight, they are simply trying to prevent the complete collapse of dialogue. In high stakes geopolitics, keeping those private back-channel conversations alive is frequently the only barrier preventing a minor operational mistake from spiraling into a regional war. This crisis is now at a critical crossroads. Intelligence analysts are projecting three distinct pathways forward. Scenario 1 is that diplomacy prevails. Negotiations continue at the table, military activity gradually decreases, and trust is slowly rebuilt, a process that requires immense time and patience. Scenario 2 is accidental escalation. This is the most perilous outcome, where a rapid, unintended mistake overrides all diplomatic efforts before anyone can stop it. Scenario 3 is control tension. Experts consider this the most likely reality. Both countries maintain a prolonged state of strategic competition, severe economic pressure, and aggressive rhetoric without ever crossing the line into direct full scale combat. This conflict shows us how modern power actually operates. Wars are no longer fought exclusively with troops and warships, they are waged simultaneously across central banks, global supply chains, and energy markets. Right now, the stability of the global economy depends entirely on whether two heavily armed adversaries can sustain enough private dialogue to survive their own public hostility.